My approach to viticulture consultation is definitely to add value towards the business of my clients. So I'm privileged enough to have a lot of clients in the wine industry that focus on the premium wine market. So I use my knowledge that I learn from them. I overlay that on my viticultural expertise, and then I go to that client with a certain expectation and a perception in my mind. But I think it's important to remember that that client also has a certain perception in his mind. So it's important for the viticulture consultant to actually sit down and have a discussion with the client and make sure that you are fully aware of the client's budget, their capacity, their cash flow, and then you can sit together, put all the playing cards on the table, and you can actually co-create a value proposition for the client. So I think it's really important to do that, the co-creation, because then you actually motivate the client to do that action as well. And I think it's important to remember, although we are working in a really technical aspect of viticulture, we use people to get to that specific technical point. So we must be fully aware of psychological details, of social sciences to actually motivate people to get to that specific technical point. So I think within time we'll probably have to look at evolving our business model to be more customer centric. We will have to look at internally within Vinpro to drive synergies between the different departments and the different affiliates, and then also look at the bigger wine sector and wine network that we have in Vinpro to leverage that network to actually add additional value to our clients at the end of the day. Yes, I am a firm believer that we need to travel on an international level. When you get back from an international trip, you have that fire in your belly to do small incremental changes with your clients in the vineyards. And I would say some of the most strategic changes that I've applied in vineyards in South Africa that was really successful is knowledge that I obtained from overseas and I applied over here. I'm also a firm believer that you have to rub shoulders with other international consultants and learn from them. So some of my colleagues critique me about that, but I'm a firm believer that I could learn from them and they can maybe learn a bit from me, and we can apply that to our clients' wine business at the end of the day. I think it's also important to remember that viticulture is based in science, and that's why most of our consultants are trained in a bachelor's degree of science, and you have to understand science, you have to understand science journals and be up to date with the latest science that's out there. So it's really important to keep up with all the new science in the industry. I think it's really important to have a look at vineyard establishment at a holistic level, especially if you start to work on a luxury level or a premium wine brand. You really need to understand where is that wine going to sell at the end of the day, what's the preferences of the end producers, what kind of palate do they have, what do they prefer. Are they heading towards a more elegant wine style? Do they want a more bold, big wine style? So it's really important to do that research before we actually get into the technical detail of the vineyard. After that, if you have a good understanding, then we can go into all the nice technological things that we apply in establishing the vineyard. We can use electromagnetic scanners on the soil to actually look at the different soil differences. We can use GIS terroir studies to understand the terroir better. We can make use of research to actually see what would the best plant spacing be. We can speak to nurseries to get statistical clonal information on differences on the different clones when it comes to wine style. So you really need to look into all the details of that specific project. But I think that what's really important at the end of the day, you need to keep the producer and the contractors motivated to stay up to date with that detailed plan. So if you want to move in that premium wine market, you have to be the king of detail, otherwise you're not going to make it. I think I will be in very big trouble if I say what my favorite wine is. I see it evolving over time, and I see most clients as part of the Vinpro family, and in my personal life I learned if you choose one family member above the other one, you'll be in big trouble quite fast. So, but what I can tell you is that my favorite cultivar has the same initial as myself, so CS, My favorite cultivar is Cabernet Sauvignon, the king of reds.